Hello everyone, it's your friendly neighborhood Ether Goblin here, and today I am going to be presenting to you a nice little nostalgia bomb that is on Neopets. In the 90s and early 2000s through maybe about 2006 or so, there were two main websites that all of us as kids would be at war over which one was better and which one was worth your time. There was either Neopets or there was Club Penguin. My area that I grew up in the west side of the Portland area, was exclusively a Neopets neighborhood and area for anybody who talked about either of the websites. This was the era also of now kids getting super into trading cards. And the reason why is because during this time period, of course, Digimon, which was really kind of the predecessor, the original, the OG, if you will, Pokemon. And then Pokemon came out later and completely murdered it in cold blood to take its place. Because there can be only one. And of course you also had Yu-Gi-Oh! And those were like the big three trading card games that like all these kids and even some Gen Xers, so from the 80s, basically 80s kids, were super into. They were the shows they were into, they were the animes, the mangas they were into, and so naturally, the trading card games they were super into as well. And out of that, Neopets decided to kind of join that zeitgeist. So it's actually kind of interesting. So this is extremely fun for me though, because Neopets was a huge part of like, say a 3 to 5 year straight period of my childhood, mainly due to my older sister, Erica. Neopets, if you remember Tamagotchis, that's kind of what Neopets was kind of playing off of. You could sort of tell how it was sort of Pokemon inspired / Digimon inspired and sort of Tamagotchi inspired. It was kind of like a combination of both. As a quick overview, if we continued, by about roughly 2004 or 2005-ish, Neopets, in my opinion, and most people, and the opinion of those of us who played it in the heydays before the buyout that happened in 2004 or 5, that's when we consider it to have been ruined. Because that's when all the art changed for by far the worse. They started loading the website with ads. They started to implement basically microtransactions to where now suddenly there was such a thing as new cash, which is absurdly stupid, especially considering it was mostly kids who still played it. There was just so much about it that it got ruined in that buyout. And who bought it out? It was Viacom, shortly after they merged with Nickelodeon, or I should say acquired Nickelodeon. And so as a result, that's when all of a sudden Nickelodeon started to have all these ads for Neopets, and vice versa. On Neopets, if you didn't have cable or satellite TV, and you didn't know about Nickelodeon, you didn't see those ads, you'd see ads for Nickelodeon and Nickelodeon Studios and things like that on the website. And in fact, there was brand deals after that, in mass. This was the longest standing period in Neopets. This was when they also introduced new pets, new pets, new items, new worlds. They expanded the worlds, but again, it was art changes and the kind of the direction change. So things kind of felt a little more pay to play, and things also just did not look right. Like the art, in my opinion, royally sucked. The latest news is that they've not just updated the website, so they had a beta period in 2023 and 2022. And they actually completed that for about a year of working on it. It kept going down for a while, so they kept trying to tweak it and fix it and take the input and rebuild the website from scratch so that it was new, improved, and modernized. And by the end of 2023, it was officially, in a way, sort of pseudo-relaunched all over again when they completed the whole refresh. And then, as a result, since then, the CEO of Neopets, amongst the new owner, have came out and said that their biggest desire is to try to restore the glory days, the heydays, back to that former glory of that pre-2000s era, or pre-mid-2000s era. So that's really cool. So they're trying to, and they have officially refreshed a lot of the original pets in that artwork back to its original awesome, nostalgic freaking vibes. I honestly was scared that when Viacom bought them out, they had completely ridden themselves of that art. Like that original art was just gone and we were never going to get it back. Well, apparently they had it in the archives somewhere. They yoinked it back out, and finally they've returned back to the best art period that they had. So like my favorite, the Blumbaroo, is back to being adorable again, standing on his tail, rather than the stupid fist thing that they all fucking are raising their fucking right fists for some reason. They're all like, yeah. That was that Viacom period artwork. I don't know why. So this is as Neopets stands now. Ironically, it turns out this is the 25th anniversary of Neopets, which is just hilarious to me because it was super unexpected. So apparently Neopets must have launched literally in 2000, which does make sense because that's when everybody started to get internet, even though it was dial-up. But that's actually suspected where the Wheel of Monotony actually came out of as a concept, was they were basically making fun of the dial-up problems that everybody had in the OG days. This is something that I just think is really interesting though, because it's entirely coincidental that this is the case. Also, fun fact, that means that Neopets Neopets is only 6 years younger than I am, which is just crazy to me. But I was 6 years old when Neopets launched. Isn't that crazy how we can look back as just millennials? We're still super young, and yet somehow we can look back and be like, back in my day, like, I remember when they first created the Neopets. So, obviously, I kind of want to take a dive back into Neopets and see what it's like now. I did test it out a little bit last year when they first tried to launch the site. I did not like it. We will see if it's improved at all or not. This is not promising because, if you pay attention, you look, this is that Viacom era artwork. All the pets have that style. Like the Jub, they did not change back to its original look. I do not know why, because it looked way better before, in my opinion. This, the original art was so much better than this. And we will see that in a moment, because obviously, in this video, I want to focus on the actual old days. So here, from the Daily Neopets, you can see how popular it was back in the day, and that the fact the person's still going. These are the old sidebars. So this is how me and my sister grew up on Neopets, okay? This is how we grew up. This is what the web page, my mom played Neopets a lot because she loved Aishas and she loved Chias, which I thought was really cool. Plus, me and my sister knew she loved Solitaire. She loved all these different like puzzle games like that. And of course, they have a lot of games like that in here. So we knew that she could play it inside of Neopets, and that would be kind of cool, because then we technically kind of are playing with our mom, which was just a really cool concept. But I remember this so vividly and perfectly, dude. I really do have a video and photographic memory. So this is just really freaking fun, dude. Oh, I love it. Oh, I remember this day so well. These days so well, man. This is so cool. So you can actually see how they expanded the not just this world, but they expanded a bunch of others, and they had other planets show up, so they expanded this size a little bit, so that way you could have a bunch of different places you could go to. Oh dude, the amount of time I spent on the high street of Neutopia Central, was ridiculous. I spent so much time here, dude. So much time here, and it was always popping in dominantly here. Some of these shops were not here. But then, like, I'm pretty sure I remembered this wasn't here before. This wasn't here before. And that wasn't here before. The back to school thing I don't think was. And I'm pretty sure the Thinkway Toys wasn't. Either that was the 99 Dog Store. Wasn't there. But, like, it was because it was a lot more bare of a map. But it's just, I don't know. It's really, really cool to look at this during this time period. So I actually did a separate video reacting to all of this. This is, let's call this foreshadowing, so that hopefully you guys will go and watch that other video, because the backstory to this is not expected. It's super interesting. So check that one out for sure. Here is the classic Neopets art. So this is the heyday art. Okay, this is the era that I remember so fondly, and that I and my sister played so much time on back in the day. This is it. Though the Psy Bunny and the Chombi, those were the pets to get. In case you didn't know that, in the OG days, those pets were wicked difficult to come by because they were genuinely rarities. They were rare pets that you pretty much just had to hope that somebody put up for adoption and you could get. Like, literally the moment they show up, you clicked. You were the first person to click so you could get it. Otherwise, you weren't going to get it unless you had a stupid amount of Neo points that you had saved up to then buy the respective potion. And those potions, of course, were lethally expensive. They're like millions upon millions of Neo points, usually, especially for like the Chombies. The Chombi was one of the most popular, which makes total sense. One of my favorites of the Chombi, I think the Psy Bunny was adorable, so like I always liked the idea of having a Psy Bunny a bit. Koi is kind of cute, so I kind of like the idea of a Koi. Yeah, my sister was super into the Crocs, though. She was a big Croc girl. It's kind of the reverse of what you would expect, but yeah. I remember even when they added the Zweetalk and the Yerbil, and they added the Lutari and the Tonu. I remember when they added them. The Hissy, I remember when they added those. Yeah, I remember when they added the Rookie. I genuinely, the Ogren, I genuinely remember when they added those because they were not original. The Norbu, I remember them adding that. The Ixie, I remember them adding the Ixies. The Boris, those were all later. They were not the original pets. If you X-nade and remove those off, it was literally just all the remaining ones I didn't mention. Those were there. So yeah, my favorite was the Mirka because it was adorable. The Blumbaroo is so cute. Look at him. Look at it. How can you not think that's adorable? That is so cute. Oh my god. The Kugra. This is not the original art. In fact, you saw the original art there on that video I was talking about before. If you watched that video, or of course, if you just saw that little clip that you got, almost like a sneak preview, that was the true original art of the Kugra. This is the new Jub Jub. Actually, hang on. If I went back to that, I'll get a screenshot because I'm not going to go back to that tab. Did it actually show the original Jub Jub? Because the difference between this Jub Jub and the original is vast, and I like the original Jub Jub way better. Look at the Psy Bunny. How is that not adorable, right? Aisha being number one. Plain wrong. Just stating facts right now. That's obviously wrong. Blumbaroo is the only one that deserves to be up there. Because it's fucking adorable. Look at him. You can't tell me I'm wrong. The most adorable pet of them all, alongside Psy Bunny. And obviously the OG Mirka. 2005, Neopets received 2.2 billion page views. So it was 5 years old and already received 2.2 billion visits. It's kind of crazy. So apparently they claim that this was literally the original designs of each of the pets that we came to know. So in 1999, before the website actually fully launched in 2000, this is what they each looked like. I don't know why there's just randomly actual people. I'm assuming that's what they turned out to become. Is like one of these is the Keith, one of these is the Bruce, one of these is the no, that's a Keith. So actually I don't know. That must be is that a Corbat or a Drake? It's obviously a Quiggle, a Lenny. This is obviously a Jub Jub. That's a Kachik. No, that's a Corbat. So yeah, that's a Drake. What? Okay. The Techo still looks pretty much identical though. Like that's actually really interesting. Same with the Nemo, the Kiko, the Chia is exactly the same actually. What's really cool, again, the Blumbaroo is exactly the same. Look at this. That's so cool. What? So, okay. So here's the fun thing for me, personally. I actually genuinely remember this guy being used, this actual art being used, straight up. Same with the Koryu, this exact art being used. And I remember the exact art of the Chia being used. And of course the Blumbaroo. Because the Blumbaroo, this is literally exactly as it stayed. It never got changed until that, again, that buyout. And then this Chia is OG as well. And I remember seeing that used in an art piece before. In that, again, that pre-referenced video where I was looking at some of the original artworks and stuff and the concepts and April Fool's designs and stuff like that, I actually mentioned one of these pets, one of their original designs, and how it was actually used. And it was the Gellert. One of their, there's a lot of backstory to the Gellert, apparently. It's just really interesting, so I highly recommend you check out that video. But yeah, one of the other pieces of its backstory was really cool because they used the Gellert in certain contexts and situations that were basically like if an error or some issue popped up, you would see that specific old original Gellert design, which was not actually used in any other contexts. It's really cool stuff. I remember this, man. I remember this perfectly. This exact art. And obviously, abandonment just means it's put up for adoption. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, I was okay. I was right. So there was a new lodge. I remembered the new lodge being there. Yeah, see, that's missing. The two shops down here, I said, those are missing. The back to school is there though. The McDonald's is missing. See, I told you. So this is actually truly OG. So see, I wasn't wrong. I did remember right. Those sponsor things were not there originally. So they're gone. However, this is still not the original art, because if it was, it wouldn't be so rounded and more fairy tale-esque. And the money tree is updated to what it turned out to look like when Viacom took over, which is still very interesting to me. Yeah, I forgot there was like artwork you could collect and stuff too. It's so cool though, because you can tell that people like they just use like the old like launch versions of Paint Shop Pro, and before that they just used Paint, Microsoft Paint. And I think that's just super cool because it just shows you, I remember the sandwich. I literally specifically remember that sandwich. I remember those tomatoes. Some of these I don't remember, but actually most of these I don't remember. I think I remember this for a Halloween thing. I definitely remember that. I remember the rapes. I shouldn't say that. YouTube's not gonna like that. I remember the grapes. I think I vaguely remember this. I definitely remember that. Going through memories. I really remember this. And I remember the bacon, I remember the cheese, I remember the apple, the OG Apple artworks. I actually think I might vaguely remember this too, a fish and a fish. Yeah, fish. Actually I'm starting to think I vaguely remember this too. I remember the egg, I remember the peas. I remember this very well. Oh no, actually I remember the nail polish, now I think of it too. I remember the varnish. I don't think I remember any other items other than the ones I just mentioned though. That is really fun and cool to look at this though. Remember which ones I remember. English is stupid. Here's your yeah, here's the paintbrushes. Other than this one, I remember I think every single one of these. The zombie paintbrush. I wish I could make this tagline go away. Transparent paintbrush, I forgot about that, yeah. Just makes your pet invisible. Woodland paintbrush, I don't know if I actually do remember that. Stone paintbrush, I believe. I do remember that. Biscuit paintbrush, forgot about that. Camouflage paintbrush. I mean, I remember all of these. Except for, I think, the Usuki. I don't think I remember at all. But I definitely remember every single one of the rest of these, though. Other than maybe the woodland one. You would think, of all people, I would remember the woodland one because I love the outdoors and forests and mountains and shit, but... The pirate paintbrush, yep. I remember that. Dude, Techo pirates? Croc, yeah, you're painting your Crocs pirate. Your Kachik's pirate. Were probably the best 3-looking pirate pets you could get. But the Mirka and the Blumbaroo, of course, are like doubly adorable when you actually put a pirate polka dot handkerchief on their head. Bandana, super freaking cute. Oh yeah, I forgot you could also turn there was baby versions of your pets. So you could turn them into babies and they just stay babies, which is so adorable. Fun fact that this reminded me of, literally whenever you saw anything that said special or you saw the rarity levels on it, never listen to it. In all eras, it was usually entirely fraudulent or at least completely unreliable information. It was never very accurate. Just wanted to remind you of that in case you forgot, if you haven't played, and if you didn't, now you know. Don't ever take it seriously. There's a lot of items that were always wicked common. I mean, there were some of the most common items, and they'd say like uncommon or like rare or something, or like special. And special means nothing. Did I ask, Sean? Is your different worlds? See, this was the original artwork for the Tabbola one. Same with or the Lost Island, and I can't remember what the heck this was called. Terrania, yeah. So this is Tamiz, it's a Terranian plateau, but to me it was Terrania. Fairy City, yep. The snow caves and all that, where the swagger was, where if you snuck in, you might successfully go and stealth your way into an item like a neg. Fucking negs, awesome stuff. Graveyard thing. I don't remember the name of all the worlds. That's the fucking problem. This one, you have somewhere in this realm, you have Brightvale. It's called Brightvale, right? You had no, Brightvale's over here. Okay, so if you went to, oh no, it is. It's right here. Okay, so you could. This is like a you pick thing. So you can just go through and you might get some valuable like food items, so like berries or whatever else. You could find a random cool valuable item that wasn't food related. Just randomly in there, you could find, of course, rotten berries, a pile of dung. It's very common. You can find a lot of different things like that. A pile of shit. Literal shit. Excrement. Evacuation of the bowel. Used pwned by the labs and avatar on the new boards. Changes into a yellow chia. Oof. I forgot about this thing, yeah. That was always a disaster. This is one of the gambling games, technically, or the gambling things they had implemented, which is technically gambling. Because you have the new boards, which is just a form, which is super interesting. I forgot that they had that. Dying extremely happy. That is the most Neopets thing ever, dude. Oh, man.